So, introduce yourself.
My name's Reece. I am the landlord of the George Inn in Vernham Dean. I took on the pub 9.5 years ago, nearly. And yeah, I've run the pub during the best times ever to run a pub, between plague, economic crash, Brexit. Oh, it's been a hoot. It's been so much fun running a pub, your own business with all of that. But I wouldn't change anything. I love what I do. I don't think you can do this job if you don't love what you do. You work too hard and you're not paid enough. And so it's all about just having the fun, shits and giggles.
So why did you take on the pub?
So I spent about 8 years in London as a brewer. I was brewing at a company called Sandbrooks, who is still going, one of London's probably bigger breweries now. And I enjoyed it. We were getting towards 30, and I mean, to put it bluntly, I'd always thought about running a pub. I'm originally from Leicestershire, so I didn't know this area at all, apart from my wife's from this area. And I got my wife pregnant, and our one bed flat in Clapham just wasn't going to cut it anymore. So it was what I wanted to do, but I suppose it sort of spurred me on to actually get out and do it. We looked at a few pubs. We put an offer in at a different pub. It luckily fell through. Yeah, we did. Yeah. There was a pub towards Tisbury, so a little further west from here. And it's called the Compasses Inn at Lower Chisgrove. Look at it. It is like, I mean, you think this pub looks good. That is, but it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. So actually, I think fate, actually being in a village, and Vernham's an amazing community. There aren't many of these, like, everyone knows each other and they use the pub. Well, the majority of them use the pub nowadays.
So tell us a bit about Vernham Dean.
Oh, Vernham Dean. Vernham Dean likes a drink. They've literally had to install we got 3 bottle banks now, because we got our own bottle bank and it was full by Tuesday morning. So they've actually put 3 bottle banks in now. It's a lovely community, traditional farming community. This pub's been here since at least the 1500s, the core of it. It's been a pub since the 1600s. Yeah, lovely community. We've got a Neolithic hill fort at the top of the hill over there, which is, a great piece of history. We're surrounded by a lot of traditional, old-fashioned, what you'd call proper estates. Yeah. So it's there's a lot of farming here. There's a lot of hunting, shooting, fishing. Well, not so much fishing. We don't have a stream, but it's a wonderful place. We've got a Norman church, and we got this place. A proper village pub in the centre of the village that's totally independent. Yeah. Me and the mortgage company.
How do you think a pub like this differs from a pub that's, say, run by a chain or owned by a brewery?
Yeah, so they all differ. I don't think there's such a thing as a bad pub. No. There's horses for courses. It breaks my heart to see any pub shut, to be honest with you. We'd lost, since the year 2000, we've lost 1/3 of all of our pubs that were still left then. And we're losing at the moment 2 a day. It's mad. So being totally independent, one, it allows me to do whatever we want to do. Now, sometimes I get that completely wrong. Sometimes I get it completely right. We can serve the beer we want to serve. We can serve the food we want to serve. And I think the biggest difference you notice maybe with a chain pub is they tend to have a manager. And a lot of people in a small pub like a traditional landlord. He's here. You come in, he's pouring your regular pint. He's sat there, he's having a drink with the regulars. He knows everyone. I live in the village. My kids have been born and raised in the village. People come and go, but that consistent, people like a landlord. Yeah. It's all right having a manager, but it's a totally different feel when someone comes in there and you're like, "You're all right, mate." You can feel easier with a landlord. In fact, I'm a bit of an arsehole, so I like banter. I like the to and fro. I like taking the mick out of you. I like the relationship you build with having regular customers. And I would say, on an average day, 80% of the faces that are walking through the door, I know. Yeah. There might be someone that just comes for a meal once a month, but I know them. Yes, we've got the Moul's Mariniere on. I know you like it. So, yeah, there's a big difference. And actually, I think people are more comfortable with that. I think with bigger chains, obviously, the good people want to work their way up the ladder, so they tend to manage a place and then become an area manager, or a place is failing, so they get moved on. Whereas, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'll probably be here forever until I go bust, till my wife leaves me. I don't know.
To the point of going bust, like, what are some of the challenges that...
Everything. What are some of the challenges? All of it. The cost of everything's gone up. You know, 5 years ago, before COVID, I was paying 60 pence for a pound of butter. Now it's £2. People don't get that. The price of a potato, the price of beer, the price of a, you know, I used to pay about £800 a month for my electric bill, and then all of a sudden, bang, £2 a month. So that's 12 grand a year I've got to pull out my arse to stay still. I think the biggest challenge pubs have at the moment is, one, you know, fuck the government. And I don't mean that because it's this government. I didn't particularly like the last government. They were a bunch of tossers as well. I just think, you know, 20% VAT. Why am I... Hospitality is not hospitality. I can't... Treating me the same as Starbucks makes no goddamn sense. You're like, no, it has to be a level playing field. You know, I'm a small independent business. If I go under, there's 7 people down the job centre. If I've got 7 full-time staff, I've got a pool of kids that work the weekends.
And to that point of 7 full-time staff, talk a little bit about your kind of ethos around hiring, because you're one of the few pubs that's still hiring very local.
Yeah, and my retention's high. Really? Ula's been with me 9 years. Felix has now been with me 3. Chef's been with me 9 years. Grace has been with me 9 years. Steph's been with me 5 years. Jacob came here as a pot washer in like 2019, and now he's a sous chef. You know, he's literally worked here, man. He started at 16, he's now 22. Like, that's amazing, really. You just treat people well, or treat them, you know, obviously you're the boss. Occasionally you have to kick some ass. You know, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing that? Has anyone checked on that customer? Come on, guys, yeah. But at the same time, you don't need to be mean to people. They're here doing the job. And this is a hard job. There are easier ways to make money than turning up here on a Friday and getting shouted at by pissheads. You know, so you have to appreciate people. You pay them a decent wage. You let them keep the tips. And if they need time off, you give them time off. If they need, you know, it's not like, to be a good boss isn't like a really hard recipe. Working in a pub sets you up for life, right? If you want good social skills, good accountancy skills, good mental arithmetic, dealing with people that you wouldn't usually deal with. I find the younger generation, the biggest problem with them is they are polarised. So everyone's so offended by everything because you only hang out with people with exactly the same opinions as you. And actually, you know, to assume your perspective on life is the reality is just stupid. It makes...
After a bit of an antidote to that.
Absolutely. I love a pub. Literally, seeing a 16-year-old waiting a table, that bloke's a builder, that bloke's lord of the manor, that bloke's a, you know, that bloke's a fascist, that bloke's a communist. But as long as they're not causing any trouble and they've got money in their pocket, you get on with them. In fact, some people with totally different points of view to you are really nice people. And actually they might change your, to not be able to change your opinion, or just going, I won't change my opinion, even if you're presented with the facts, is madness. You know, I've changed my opinion on a lot of things over my life. And, you know, you watch a 16-year-old come in and they're always shy. And, you know, we've got a new girl. We got...
Excuse me, we're in the middle of an
I'll have a pint. So we got a new girl. Literally, her first shift was last Saturday. Quiet and... Yeah, her name's Amelie, bless her. And she is... well, she lives in the village. Maybe. Anyway, but you watch them, and I've watched loads of them, like Ellie or Sophie or, you know, Eliza, and they come in, and the first couple of months are really quiet and and then they come out of their shell a bit and.
Why do you want to be on social media, and what's the purpose? What's the thought behind it?
So I want to do short videos on different things. So some of them funny. Some of them experience, and actually most of them to show you what it's like to run a pub, and how tough it is at the moment. You know, I've just done my accounts. I've broken even. I'm not paying myself very well, and but I do love what I do. You couldn't do this if you didn't love what you did. But my whole thing is maybe just to give you. There's plenty of funny social media things about working in a bar and set up fake situations and all of that sort of thing. I don't want to do that. I want to give you this is the day-to-day running of a pub. From the 8 a.m. I'm here cutting up firewood to the locking the door at 11 at night, and all that in between. When you run a pub, you're everything. I literally was so green when I took this place on. And now
what was that first week like?
Oh, fucking nuts. But now I'm actually a pretty decent plumber.
Yeah.
I'm actually a really good cleaner. I'm actually a pretty solid chef as well.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do everything, especially when there's no one else to fall back on. I'm not part of a chain. I can't call up, can you send the electrician round? No, although I don't mess with the electrics. I'm just going to make that quite clear. I am all up to code. I'm not. But yeah, no, it's yeah. So what do I want to be on social media? I guess really it's the future, and I'm using it. I'm not a social media person. Look at me. I've literally just walked out the Edwardian era. Honestly, I like tobacco, beer, and a fire. I don't really give a shit about all this. Look at a picture of my lunch. So, why do I want to do it? It's the future. And if I can get younger people, or, if I can get an extra 20 customers a week that go, wow, these old-fashioned, awesome, wet-led, little independent village pubs, all our food's home-cooked, but it's honest food. We do ham, egg, and chips. There's no fucking tweels and shit. And so, just if I can get an extra 20 customers a week, the future of this pub is secure. And actually, I'd like for all the other publicans out there, and in anyone struggling, we're all struggling, different levels of struggling. I'd like the general public to know what it's like. You come in, you see me having a pint with the regulars. That old adage, but it used to be policemen. They retire and go and run a country pub. The amount of people that go, oh, we're retiring, we'll go and run a country pub. You will work harder than you've ever worked. You will suddenly, you and your missus think it's an idyllic life, and we'll sit in the bar and have pints with the regulars, and actually it's just a complete bumfuck of everything needs doing all the time. I'm the head of HR, I'm the accountant, I'm the cleaner, I'm everything.
Yeah.
Whilst having 2 kids and trying to run my own life and be a good person. Of course you do. You would not do this if you didn't love it. As soon as you stop loving it, then you've all met that bitter landlord who sits there. He's alcoholic. He can't. And you just you've all been to that pub where the guy just looks like he fucking hates life. And you're like, mate, it's time for you to just go and deliver groceries for Ocado. The fact you're still here, if you fucking hate it, you've got to stop. You've got to stop doing it as soon as you don't love it. And people can tell. If there's no love in it, a lot of it nowadays is about being the best. So if you walk into a place and it's already hostile, this is fucking expensive. £5, £6 if you drink premium lager, bloody 12 million quid if you drink Guinness. So if instead of buying a tinny at home for £1, if I'm prepared to come and do this for this price, it has to be good. It has to be warm. It has to be friendly. It has to be clean. It has to be nice. To get people to, spend that amount of money.
And what are some of the things you've been doing in the past 12 months to kind of help, like you say, secure the future of the pub, but also...
So I've got a few projects. I'm looking at maybe getting the planning application in and doing a few bits, but let's wait. That's in the background at the moment. We did in November. We did a full refurb of the pub. I mean, a pretty full refurb. Nothing structurally, but everything's been painted. New benches put in. In fact, all this antique tosh. They were pretty standard tables before. I've put a load of antiques in, crazy crap on the walls. Really made it a proper country pub. If you get the vibe of this place, I don't want you to walk in. It's not a gastropub. It's not stock prints on the wall. It's not the same chair repeated 50 times. It is all proper from Hungerford Arcade, brick and brack, tat. Well, not tat, it's good tat. Calling it tat's probably underselling it a bit. Antiques, that's the word I was looking for. To make it feel like my thing with pubs, I like a pub to feel like a pub. And every pub has its place. There's a lot of pubs around here, I'm not going to name any names, but they're quite gastro-y, and which is great. It's an affluent area. There should be gastro pubs. There should be a place I want to take my missus out for our anniversary dinner. I want to meet friends. You know, oh, look at that, let's go for a taster menu. Also, there was a pub, and you can come in here with your Labrador and your wellies on and sit and have a pint, and no one's going to bother you. You can read the paper, you can meet your mates. I don't care how loud you are. It generally, you know, that's what pubs are for. In the last year, I've been revitalising the thing. I don't want to admit any defeat. You know, it's tough at the moment, but this is, and I think the village is totally behind me. Most of them. There's always, you can't go through life without people not liking you. There's people that don't drink and just hate me. But yeah, generally,
Big efforts.
making big efforts. You know, we change our menu now. All right, you've always got to have the classics. Ploughman, scampi, ham, egg and chips. So they are literally 80% of all the sales. But we've done a lot of revitalising our menu, changing the fish dish every month, swapping a few things on and off the menu, sandwiches, you know, the puddings, everything we do is homemade. So actually, you know, again, why I want to be on social media, more pictures of the food. This is all selling points. This is it. And we're kind of unknown. That's another reason I like Vernham. This isn't the Cotswolds. And that's a double-edged sword, because one, it's nice to be a traditional community that's unknown. When you're running a business, it's not great advertising-wise to be unknown, so you have to be...
You say it's unknown, but, like, it's pretty infamous.
What, the
Did you
George?
see the George of Vernham Dean?
I think round here, and I'm not tooting my own trumpet, but if people say, if you would, do you want to go to a proper pub? Do you want to go for a meal? Or no. If you were meeting your mate for a pint, most people would go, the George is fine. You go to the George. It's a pub. That's a, if you know, I got a lot of people whose cousins, you know, they come in and they got family in Australia or America, or they, you know, they got a foreign mate come in, someone who's Italian or Spanish or Dutch or whatever, and they're like, no. If you want to see a British pub, there's plenty of places that are white walls with stock prints and the food is lovely, but if you know, if you're thinking of merry old England as a foreigner, with guys with bowler hats going pip pip, drinking tea and all of that, you'd take your mate to the George. It's got 3 big fires. It's got atmosphere. If they walked in here, they'd instantly go, that is an English pub. There's a dog in the corner taking a piss. That guy looks really drunk. Oh God, this beer tastes like ashtray. And why is it room temperature? You know, it's ale. You know what I mean? You got to do that.
And a big part of the project, though, in the last 12 months was helping take the George from just like more of a boozy corner into the next phase of its existence, and like
Yeah, and you do have to keep up with the world. You can't, you know, you got to bend with the wind. So yeah, I love being a boozer, and I'm an old school guy. But most people aren't old school guys nowadays. You have to be accepting that most blokes don't go to the pub after work and drink 5 pints a day. So you have to be, you know, families, really important. You have to have a good kids menu. You have to be, you know, the kids have to be respectful, but they should be allowed in pubs nowadays. You know, someone was having this argument 50 years ago about letting women in pubs, and now you wouldn't even dream about doing that. And yet you still got some of the old boys, oh, fucking kids in pubs. Yeah. Their parents are going to spend about £100. Couple of starters, couple of mains, couple of kids' meals, bottle of wine. Yeah, it's part of my demographic now. It has to be. It's one way to survive. Same with doing things I don't agree with. You know, as we've discussed before, you know, you have to have a vegan option. No, you don't, but you do. You know, it is the way of the world.
And sometimes it's a token of
You know,
that,
yeah.
but it
When I was a
shows
kid,
you
I'd
as
never
well.
heard of anyone that was allergic to bread. There was always one guy in your school that couldn't eat a Snickers. That was about all you'd heard of. So you're dairy free, you're gluten free, your intolerances, you know, vegetarianism, veganism, all of those things you have to cater for.
It's being hospitable.
Do you know what? It's hospitality because you're hospitable. You've probably nailed it on the head there. I'm going to get my other pint. Move that one out of the way so it doesn't look like I'm just sitting here drinking. So it is this. Oh no, the glass is different. No, bollocks.
So the next thing I wanted to ask is about. So we've kind of done phase 1, which was the website and the social media.
Yeah.
The redecorating. What would you say is phase 2?
Phase 2 now is, I guess phase 1 was the biggest jump. I think phase 2 is cementing what we're doing and advertising what we're doing. Hence me being on this fucking video. It is, we've done really well. You know, you amazing helping me out. I would have done this on my own, or why I might have picked the same colour. I wouldn't have done any fucking cushions. You know what I mean? Yeah, shout out to the, look at that, got a fucking pheasant on it. Shout out to the cushions, but I wouldn't have done it. You know, the chance meeting we had last summer, and you going, actually, I've worked in advertising and PR or whatever it was, and I went, I'm really looking for a bit of help actually, because I'm so shit at that. I'm a great landlord. I'm a terrible businessman sometimes. Well, I'm a mediocre businessman. I'm a great landlord. I am a crap publicist.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. That was the bit. So I think the next stage is. Don't get me wrong. We still got bits to do outside. As I said, I want to maybe put planning in to do a few bits and bobs, but only time will tell on that one, and money will tell on that one. But generally, I think is to build up a brand. Is actually to be a brand. We've done all that. We paid people to design logos for us. We've got our own font now, you know. And actually, would that look good on T-shirts we can market? Of course it would. I want people to instantly recognise that knight's head. Be like, that's the George in Vernham Dean. That is a pub. That is a proper pub. We've got a good little brand here. And I guess it's just advertising myself, like you said. And not myself, advertising the George Inn. I don't need to advertise myself. I'm fucking perfect. But, you know, it's advertising the George Inn and getting people through the door. Look, my business, I don't, you know, as much as I love what I do, I don't do this for fun. I find it fun, but I'm here, and you know what, I suppose another reason a landlord's different to a manager is I genuinely care about this place. If I could do anything in my next 10 years, it would be cement the future for the George. This has to be a pub that has to survive. Pubs like this are rocking horse shit. They are just so few and far between. There are a million chain pubs. There are a million gastro pubs. There are a million theme pubs. But to walk into somewhere, if I'd never been here before, I would walk in, I'd sit. Some of the regulars would talk to me. I'd have a couple of pints. Some of our homemade pork scratchings. I'd leave and go, fuck me, those places still exist. Yeah. Those beautiful little places with weirdos in them, all just sitting around. But you know, you've been to, you know, I've got baronesses that sit with bin men, and they all know each other's name. Oh, how are you? You're all right, my darling. All of that, it's amazing. You don't get that very often. This place is so magical.
It's blue, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's blue.
And yeah.
So, as a closing kind of thing, can you give us one of your most atrocious fuck up memories that you've had at the George, and bargaining it being the first year, and then one of your most glorious, hopeful, lovely moments at the George?
One of my biggest fuck ups. The first year I'd never run a pub. No. I think we took over the pub on the 27th of March. My birthday's the 8th of April. But I was 28 years old. And not only had I never run a pub, I'd never run a business. I'd always taken a paycheck, right? So I turned up and my wife had to set up zero for me on the accounting thing. Right, what's payroll? Right, PAYE, have you done that? What? Oh, no, I haven't. Have you ordered any? I've forgotten to order the beer before. And obviously, I'd only been in the pub for about 2 weeks, and it was Easter. So I did the same ordering as I would do any week, not realising it was a 4-day bank holiday. So we got to the Sunday and ran out of fucking beer and food, right? No shit. Everyone was quite understanding. They were like, you know, this knobhead's moved down from London and he's literally not ordered any beer. How'd you do that? But I did. Oh man, I had loads in my first year. I set a woman's hair on fire. I moved a candle. And she was no shit. She was an old dear. So she had the quite coiffured, like the Queen's hair. Yeah. What do you call it? Set and rinse. Set and perm, whatever it was. And obviously quite a lot of lacquer in it. And she was like, do you mind moving the candle? She couldn't, so whatever it was. And I moved it by her hair, and her fucking head went on fire. Oh, yeah.
We'll save some for another day.
Yeah, no. There's plenty. What's my? I suppose my favourite moments are really simple ones. Are literally sat with the regulars. I suppose what always warms my heart is every Friday night after school, my kids come here. They like to eat pizza. They like to, they're allowed a fizzy drink. We're pretty boring parents nowadays. I grew up in a world of turkey twizzlers and panda pop. You can't do that. You get kids have parties nowadays, and you're like, "Where's the Haribo?" Oh no, we got hummus and carrot sticks. You're like, "It was a fucking kids' party. What the fuck are you doing?" But that's the world you live in. I like to see my kids on a Friday. I like to see. I've got two daughters. They're 8 and 6, and I like to see. They just walk in now. I'll go up to Wheeler and I'm like, "Can I have a drink, please? Do you mind if I order my own pudding on a waitress pad and just walk into the kitchen and give it them?" They call it their pub, and I think it's just the loveliest part of running a pub. It's just the community around you. I've got a million people in that bar. If I was to send a WhatsApp at 2 a.m., I'm in the shit. Someone would come back and go, "Reece, no worries, man. What do you need?" It's a.
Well, look at the refurbishment.
Oh God, yeah. All local people. Yeah, local builder, local painter, local electrician. Local Mark, bless him. He was starting a new job. He'd left his job and he had a 2-week period. And I went, "Mate, do you want to?" "Oh yeah, no worries." Just timing was perfect. Yeah.
So special.
Yeah, a special place.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's sign off. So maybe say something like, we're going to be posting every week. Keep checking in, and if anyone's got any special requests for videos, then that's
Yeah, we're going to be posting every week. If anyone wants to know anything particular about running a pub, if there's a pub landlord that wants a shout out, if there's anyone that wants a shout out, the idea is every week just to do a little bit of content, maybe a different theme. Maybe I'll talk you through one of the menu dishes. Maybe I'll talk you through what I have to do in the morning. Maybe I'll talk you through what I have to do on a Sunday. Maybe I'll show you how to clean the lines for the beer. All of those things. The whole concept of this is actually I don't want to be a gimmick. I just want to sell good food and run a good pub.
What is this delivery?
Oh, that's my McDonald's. Sophie went to town. I know. I'm telling everyone how good all our food is.
It's not a bloody McDonald's delivery.
Yeah, 9 nuggets and 2 cheeseburgers. What a fat wanker!
Oh,
I don't need it, but I can't resist. If someone's like, I don't need it that often. But if one of the kids is like, "I'm going to town getting Mackie," do you want it? Yeah.
On that note, welcome to the George.
Welcome to the George.